Welcome back, everybody. My name is Mr. Reality from At Reality Forecast on YouTube, and you might know this character from his rapping days, MC Hawking, or you might know him from being a theoretical physicist. But Liz Cross is with me, and I thought, hey, Liz, could you bring in Stephen Hawking?
I can. I have him here. Wow.
Everybody wants to know, is he standing up or is he in a wheelchair?
And yeah, he's standing up. He's in a great functioning, etheric body. Wow.
What does he want to say?
He wants to thank everybody for all the support that they've shown him over the years while he was on the earth plane, and it was their encouragement that kept him to stay positive and motivated.
What allows you to, or what's the decision on the other side to come into a hindered body and hobbled body like you did?
It was just to increase the difficulty level and the challenge, which he obviously mastered. He doesn't have to do that ever again.
He does not. That is correct. What's he been working on the other side? Who has he talked to?
Well, he's enjoying like programming his future lifetime. What does that mean, Liz? Well, I'll tell you. Up there, okay, we design our lifetimes. And that's the oversimplification statement, because a lot of inner workings have to go into these soul contracts, into these lifetimes, and it's done with the programmer. Now, those of you in the CTT group, we've done the programmer, we've done tapping, and we've hit our souls and our timelines and all that with the programmer. But what happens is everything is I was talking about this today. Everything is a mathematical equation. Okay. Everything in the universe, every type of energy, everything in our DNA structures, everything everything is a mathematical equation. So instead of the programmer taking charge and he handing the programmer the list to say, this is what I want, this is how I want you to design it, he's actually trying to do the programming himself.
Okay. He's stepping into the role of being a programmer. I wonder if he could talk more about, in theoretical physics, they talked about the paradox of sending information into a black hole. And what more has he learned about that while on the other side?
Well, black holes are amazing, wonderful things, and they're like a vacuum, he says. It's a fast track to get to somewhere else. And there's millions and millions of black holes out there. So you can put energy into the black hole, and it's like a transport mechanism. You know what comes to mind? I don't know if anybody has seen that movie, Polar Express. Have you ever seen that, Ronan?
Often?
Right. Well, my kids love that movie, right? I must have watched it at least 100 times last season. And in Santa's workshop, there's like this little chamber thing that they all climb into, and it, and they hit the button and it takes them like super speed wherever they want to go. That's what a black hole is supposed to do. So it's a way to send energy and receive energy. And I'm saying, but are black holes only one way? And yes, that is correct. Black holes are only one way. They're not a return system. So if you want to return that energy, you have to find a black hole that is, vacuum or returning back to where it came from. So you'd have to find a different black hole.
You can't send matter through a black hole, can you, Mr. Dr. Hawking?
Can you send matter to the black hole? No, but you can send energy. And considering that all matter is energy anyway, you just need to take the etheric version of the matter, which is all held in complex computations that are far too complex for our brain capacity. That's why we're never able to solve all of this, right? And you can send energy. It's just a fast track way to send energy throughout the universe.
You expressed a big desire to make a grand unified theory. How is work progressing in that on the other side, mathematically and in the term of physics and consciousness?
That project's on hold at the moment. It's on hold.
How about the multiverse?
The multiverse? No.
We're not operating as parallel selves on different reality planes.
No.
How about the Mandela Effect? Some people either misremember or remembering a different series of events from their past.
Okay, so what would be the question? I'm sorry.
So I remember 4 people in the JFK car, and now there are 6 people in this crazy long limousine car when JFK was shot.
Okay, so you believe that I don't understand what that
I
you're
believe that
getting
an
at. I'm
overlay
sorry.
has happened in the past and that somehow the reality has been changed and overlapped and overwritten so that now the existence of 6 people in the car JFK was shot in is the common accepted reality. And yet in 2004, it was not my reality.
What about the Mandela effect? Is that yeah, that's accurate. Were there actually 6 people in the car with JFK? No.
What did he say?
I said, were there actually 6 people in the car with JFK? And I gotta know. But hold on, are you saying 6 including JFK? 6 people including JFK? No.
Right. In my reality, there were 4 people in the car. There was the driver, there was Connolly, there was Jackie, and Kennedy. And then now in this new reality, it's a 6 person car with Connolly's wife in some middle crazy seat. And yet, that is the reality that we're supposed to expect. And yet, I even recall the angle of the Zapruder film changing from what I recall it being previously when I watched it over 15 years.
That's correct.
How did that happen? Explain to me how that overlay was recreated.
Recreated. Because they wanted to not have everyone in full possession of the facts in order to disempower the people.
Okay, now who is the they and how was this accomplished?
So who the White House.
Who within the White House had the technology to go back in time and alter reality so that it's now a new timeline perception for the majority of people? And why wasn't I affected? And why weren't other people affected? Sorry, that's 36 questions.
Uh, who in the White House? The official security. They don't want people probing his murder. They don't want it.
This brings up another question. You talked about time's arrow a lot in your work. And so, how was the arrow of time manipulated? Who were the people that went back and manipulated this event so that it's on 2 timelines?
Okay, for the audience members that don't know what time's arrow is, please would you explain?
We have Stephen Hawking here. He can explain better than I can.
Oh God, now you're talking about trying to decipher physics questions from the spirit world. So there's the thermodynamic arrow of time. There's the psychological arrow of time, and there's the cosmological arrow of time. Which of these three is more accurate? The cosmological arrow of time.
Okay. How did they move? Was it a wormhole that they created? How did they move backwards in time to alter this event?
Well, time is not actually altered, is what he's saying to me. It's just expanding. It's just as time is progressing, the universe has to progress with it. It's just the natural progression of the universe.
Okay, but there was an event that happened and now it's been manipulated to overlay that event. So I'm trying to find out how can I get one of these time travel belt boxes so I can go back in time and fix my own events, like telling myself what the $1 billion Powerball was, and like how did they have to stay there or did they come back here? The White House Time Bureau.
Did they alter it by using remote viewing? They could have altered it by using remote viewing, you know.
Well, did they?
Did they?
Or did they physically go there? Because it's a new event and there's new video and there's new audio and there's new memories that have affected people.
No, they didn't have to go there. They there is a way to change the information. And they basically, for lack of a better term, they use remote viewing.
Well, we'll have to discuss that at another time. Stephen Hawking, I'd like you explain to us how everyone in their daily lives can apply your teachings to enhance their own consciousness and spiritual development.
Just keep searching. That's the most important thing. Too many people have given up on searching the meaning of life. They're just sitting around engaging in behaviors that are not serving themselves very well. And instead, they're not contemplating that meaning of life. And the more we're moving in the future, the more, I'm sorry, the less that people are actually doing that contemplation. The powers that be do not want you to have that amount of information. The more information you have, the more powerful you become as a soul, as a being, as a human, whatever it is that you are reincarnating as, or even when you're in the spirit world, a lot of people think that in the spirit world that they have all knowing, all information, but that's not correct. They're not allowed to. And this is where people that are using a singular entity to give answers to, you know, a lot of people, personal interest questions, a lot of that becomes or is wrong. And that's because that soul is not personally connected to the individual, or that entity is not personally connected to that individual who is asking the question. It's always better to ask the question from the perspective of somebody who actually has a vested interest in your life. So the outcome is important because for whatever reason on a contractual level, your contract matters to that entity. Okay, so that contract that you make directly affects the entity. So therefore, that's one thing that he has definitely learned. And that you think that we're all knowing up there, but no, we're not privy to have the amount of knowledge and empowerment that Source has. That's how we stay in the game.
Physically, where has he traveled since heading over to the other side?
Have you gone to other universes? No. He's not allowed to leave the universe that Source has designed because his soul belongs to Source.
How about the Milky Way? Has he left the Milky Way galaxy, headed over to other galaxies?
Oh, absolutely.
And what kind of things can he observe from those other galaxies? Does he look at the spin? Does he look at the frictional coefficients of, I don't know, the grinding tectonic plates? I mean, what is he interested in over there?
Just understanding how everything works and how different it is to the human existence, and understanding why humans could never live in these faraway places. We are not energetically compatible to reside on these places. It would never work. We are only programmed energetically compatible to reside on the earth plane. To reside somewhere else would take a completely different approach, energetic approach, which would have to mean that we have to be reprogrammed individuals. The only way that we could exist off of the earth plane, obviously in a body, right? I'm not talking about once we leave the body, but in a body, is that we make the conditions like the conditions that we have on earth. Otherwise, if we're just trying to, set up shop somewhere else, it's just not going to work.
Who other luminaries in quantum physics and physics does he engage with as his light ball energy being over there? Who else does he hang out with?
Einstein. He roams around with a lot of scientists. They talk about different theories, different ideologies, different evolutions, and how can they structure their life in order to serve mankind in a positive way while still keeping up with the evolutionary times.
I've got
So
a probe set up for Einstein. So we'll get to him next time, but not this time, unfortunately. I had a lot of questions for him, but I don't want to bring him in. So
very
does Stephen
interesting.
Hawking think that the Space Force that we have here in North America will grow and evolve and be able to colonize the moon in the next 50 years?
We believe that the Space Force that we have in the United States will be able to grow and colonize the moon in 50 years. No.
Is there another country on Earth that's going to put a colony on the moon before 2070?
China will go to the moon.
Yes, that's what I got a long time ago in my remote viewing sessions on who will be on the moon. Unfortunately, it's China. And will they have an outpost on Mars as well? I know that they have a plan to launch humans to Mars also.
They have a post on Mars as well. No, they'll start with the moon. Will Elon Musk ever manage to get to Mars? No.
Well, we can dream.
And that's sort of in his message, right? It's never stop searching for the reality that you believe belongs to you.
All right. Write down your reality and join it. This is Mr. Reality signing off with Liz Cross and Mr. Stephen Hawking. Liz, thanks so much for bringing this message through. And Stephen Hawking, thanks you too.
Thank you.